back to Tyler's Codex. I wanted to bring another video to you. Today I want to talk about being nice and why it seems like sometimes when we are nice, when people are nice, or like you hear the term always, nice guys finish last, nice people always suffering, nice people tend to get the short end of the stick. So today I wanted to share some thoughts on that and explain why it happens, and if you're one of those people who are suffering from this phenomenon, what you can do to get out of it. From personal experience, I was one of those people. I was nice. I used to help people out. I would always put myself out there. I would tolerate people's disrespect sometimes, hoping they'll get better. Sometimes I would I'll be kind of like a pushover sometimes, and because I thought I was being nice to them, because I was always, I was raised a certain way too. Sometimes when you're raised to be this way, sometimes you become this way because you feel like this is an effective way to avoid conflict, and that was something I was always trying to avoid too in my life. And maybe this resonates with somebody where you just don't like being confrontational, so you try to always um iron things out by being nice. So I wrote down these things, but after learning, seeing my life, like in my life, I had a lot of negativity. Here was I being something positive, which was nice, but in my life, my friends didn't really treat me, didn't respect me that much. It seems like my boss at work sometimes took advantage of me. People used to take advantage. I'm like, this should not be the results of somebody who's being nice. And I wrote down these thoughts as I began to learn a bit more about this situation. And I said here, like, do not hide under the mask of being too nice. Harshly examine yourself for weakness that may cause people to disrespect or undermine you. Being a pushover is not being nice. Being gullible is not being nice. Not calling out bad behavior is not being nice. Sometimes we form a delusion of ourselves that we're being nice when we're actually being weak, when actually we're allowing people to take advantage of us. And it don't wait for people to change. One of the mistakes I made was I thought that people would change after. I thought that if I just continue being nice to them, they'll change. Don't ever wait for people to change. Examine yourself first. The only person you can change is yourself, and the most important person to change is yourself. Ask yourself these kind of questions. Why am I being nice? When did this nice version of you get created? Was it at a time in your life where you felt you had to create a nice version of yourself for other people to accept? Is that really you? And the antidote to this video, and some people, what they do is they say, okay, let me be a mean person, and they go through a phase when they, like, they come back with a vengeance. That's why they always, you have, I'm sure you guys hear like, it's always the quiet ones who explode the most. And sometimes when a person who has been nice, they do a dangerous act or a violent act, then everybody's like, oh my gosh, that was that person? Isn't that nice person over there? And the truth is because that was always inside them. That was always them. It's just that they decide to live a fake version of themselves for so long that after a while, that which was repressed in them came out with a vengeance. So you have to really examine yourself for these things. When somebody disrespects you, do you really want to be nice to them, or do you want to call out their behavior? You gotta ask yourself that question. When somebody, let's say you're standing somewhere, somebody pushes you out the way, what do you really want to do? You want to really be the guy who's saying sorry, or do you want to be somebody who stands up for themselves? And I don't recommend becoming a very mean person. Some people, that's the way they got rid of, they dealt with this situation. They became very mean, they became very aggressive. I don't think that's the antidote. I think the antidote is just a return to self, being yourself. Your speak when you're yourself, you naturally want to stand up for yourself. There's very few, I could say, I would say this, I don't have statistics, but I could say that there are very few human beings on this planet who if they're naturally themselves, will tolerate other people's BS. Very few. There are very few people who will not stand up for themselves. Even animals. Almost every animal, down to the bugs, down to the lions, in the animal kingdom, almost all of them have a defense mechanism. You as a human being, you do have a defense mechanism. And it's okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay to call out bad behavior. It's okay. It doesn't make you a bad person to call out when somebody is wronging you. It does not make you a bad person to be confrontational when it matters. It actually, you become a bad person, if you may not think about it, but you become a bad person when you allow things to happen in your life. Because sometimes we complain about people are users, but then we forget that there are people who are called enablers as well. You don't want to be an enabler. You want to be a nice person. So nice means a true nice person reciprocates energy. So if somebody's been very kind to you, be kind to them. If somebody leads with respect, there's no reason to give disrespect. But if somebody leads with disrespect, there's no reason for you to try to entertain that situation. Entertain that situation and try to change it with niceness. So I will just think on those things. And if you're a person who suffers and you're wondering why a nice person should finish last, because sometimes the whole concept, when I first heard of the concept that nice people finish last, I was very sad because I'm just like, well, what kind of world do we live in? But I think it's not necessary. It's like, one thing I learned, and a harsh lesson I learned about life, is that in life you don't really get what you want. In life you don't get what you think you are. You get what you are. So if this niceness is coming from a place of weakness, you're going to get weak results in your life. You're going to get negative results in this life. If that niceness comes from a place of strength, however, meaning it comes from a place where you really want to be this way, it's not, you're not faking, you're not putting on an act. When you really want to be this way, it's powerful, because we obviously we see the power of kindness. Kindness can kill, as Selena Gomez once wrote, I believe. Kindness can kill. So just think about that next time you feel compelled to just be nice instead of being yourself. And if you're a person who struggles with confrontation, um, understand that standing up for yourself is one of the most important forms of self-love you could ever give yourself, because in the future you'll pay for it. I'll just share a personal thing. Like, one of the things I used to be beat up myself about a lot was, sometime in school I'll get bullied, I'll be called names, and I'll never stand up for myself. And those names and those experiences, they carried on into my adult life. And I just think to myself, wow, if I had been the person to just stand up for myself at those moments, maybe you'd get a couple of physical scars, maybe a fight may have ensued. But physical scars heal way faster than emotional scars. Emotional scars stay there for a while, and they carry on into your adulthood, and then you've got to deal with all these mental stuff that you went through in the past. So trust me, you owe it to yourself. It's not it's going to be very scary the first time, but just like everything, once you do with repetition, it becomes easier and easier. So thanks for watching the video.